Welcome to the EMN podcast, where philosophy meets disaster and uncomfortable truths meet the profession we call emergency management. This is not safe space thinking. This is the arena. Let's begin. All right, good morning.
Hey, Todd, how are you?
Doing good. Hey, good afternoon, wherever you are at out there. And this is day 3 of the IAEM conference on the floor, and appreciate everybody who's been watching us out here. And man, I'm having a good time out here.
I can tell.
So first of all, appreciate you and everything you've been doing. This is one of my writing partners here. Mike and I have been putting together some really good stuff on EMN
Yes.
on the Substack. So I do appreciate the stuff that you've been doing on there.
Thanks, cool.
But now you also have your own Substack too, though.
I do. It's tied to my Center for Emergency Management Intelligence Research, which is focused on expanding the use of intelligence, not just intelligence from a law enforcement perspective, but overall intelligence. If you think about what's happening here at the IAEM conference, you have a ton of types of intelligence. There's open source intelligence here. There's weather intelligence, tons of things that need to be involved, both the before, during, and the after for incident command, in my opinion. And by the way, we're not the first country to think about this. A number of other places do this all the time. If you look at the Australia, New Zealand model, they have it built into theirs as an intelligence as a branch already. So I have a whole Substack, a whole website that focuses on that. One of the things that we do is we do look at special projects. We're focused right now on a couple of them. One of them is an anti-swatting project.
Oh, wow.
So looking at the idea of the totality of the pathway to violence and the way that communities have to look at this holistically, right? So the call may come into a public safety access point, a PSAP, or what a lot of people know as a 911 call center. But PSAPs are really much more than that. They take calls from different places and things. They are overwhelmed today with swatting calls, and very much in different jurisdictions, they're dealt differently. Some places say send in the cavalry no matter what. And that's really a detriment, because the school, for example, that's getting that call has no idea it's coming.
Right.
So suddenly there's a massive response. And even worse is sometimes some of those responders will go, you know what, let's just run a drill. Let's go through the school and check it all out. Let's scare the heck out of the kids with the dogs and the giant guns and the commando outfits. None of that's necessary. There's actually research and studies that show that those types of things, especially unplanned, unscheduled, can have a mental health and wellness impact on the kids, not to mention the communities.
The parents,
yeah, because you know what's going to happen. The 911 call is going to go out. The texts are going to go. The fire chief who heard the call and the 911 call goes out, and the dispatching is going to tell his brother and his sister to go get their kids out of the thing. And suddenly, and if you're in a state where open carry is a thing, now you've got parents coming and they're thinking it's, the worst case scenario.
Absolutely.
They're going to defend their kids, and kids are running out. It only gets worse and worse. And all of this is a fictitious disaster.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened.
Right.
The call could be coming from overseas. Doesn't even know where it's calling from.
Wow.
AI generated.
Really?
Yes. Tons of stuff. And it's only going to get worse with next gen, because the 911 call centers, for example, are able to take in ingest video feeds. So they're anticipating live, I'm at the scene of a car crash. Okay, put your cell phone up, and basically kind of like doing triage, on behalf of, so the first responders will know, what, I got to send 3 fire trucks. I got to send 4 ambulances. That's what they're hoping for. Guess what, though? Bad people can go and say, I'll put an AI-generated feed. And if you look out there, there's a couple of them where somebody did that at an AI-generated, school on fire.
So let's talk about this for a second, because I saw a video yesterday about here at the conference, one of the booths, and then it looked like the guy jumped over, did like a combat roll over the booth onto the ground, did this thing and jumped back over. And as I'm looking at it, I go, oh, that was AI. And the reason why I knew it was AI is none of the stuff on the desk was disturbed.
Sure.
Right. And it was funny.
Yeah.
Right? It was a funny video.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, wow, so you just kind of put this in my head of like an AI situation. So if somebody does an AI video of, I don't know,
let's say a polar bear attacking a movie theater.
Polar bear attacking a movie theater.
That's an article that we did for the Substack.
Yeah.
So that's exactly it. And I have a sample. I just took a quick AI. I actually used Clipchamp. And took sounds that they have as standard sounds. A bear crying, people screaming.
Right.
I melded them together, and I had somebody say, I did the AI voice in a kid's voice. There's a couple that you can sort of change the tenor and the tone and
Right.
stuff like that. Whatever it is, these are not rocket scientists putting these things together.
Right.
The point is that if you listen to the audio track on that thing, you'll hear what sounds like a realistic call.
Right.
And don't forget, you're dealing with a dispatcher who, this is their kid's school. This is whatever it is. This is the community member. This is not a robot.
Right.
This is somebody who's going to be really affected by this. And they're getting these over and over and over again. And yes, how ridiculous would it be that a polar bear is attacking a movie theater? But what are you going to do? As I said, some of those law enforcement things are thinking, whatever that school shooting was with the Batman guy.
But you got to take it serious though, right? Because if you don't know, not the polar bear one, but some of these things you got to take.
But to your point, you didn't see the things coming across. Take the 2 seconds to ask the question, what school is it again? And if you hear robotic voice, it's something.
Right.
You got to go yellow flags.
Okay. And I get this. I know, but I'm on the dispatch side.
Okay.
Right. I'm talking about the dispatch. They get this phone call, and they're like, I'm kind of playing this through my head for a second.
Sure.
They get the phone call, and they're like, hey, there's a movie. I'm kind of going through my head. In the movie.
Sure.
So the movie, this kid calls dispatch,
right,
and says, I'm at whatever high school,
sure,
and we're gonna shoot this place up,
right,
and the dispatcher at first goes, ha ha ha, right.
I don't know that they do. I think they say, what's your name,
right,
where are you located.
I'm talking about the movie.
Oh,
right,
okay,
right,
gotcha.
So they kind of go like, yeah, whatever, right. And he's like, no, seriously, I'm in the school, I'm gonna shoot this place up, and yeah, but because if they dismiss it,
right,
and it kind of goes back to that whole normalcy bias type thing.
Yes.
Right. It doesn't happen in my school.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Those seconds lives are lost.
Right.
So I think
the flip of that is the normalcy bias is shifting now to everybody thinking it's Uvalde.
Yes.
Okay. So
right.
So they're jumping down that road, and every little district is thinking that without taking into context. I only got one call. Wait a second. So I'm hoping that some of these public safety access point software companies can start to generate information about this. Hey, wait a second. This is a voice over internet call coming into you. It came in through the non-911, so it's not recorded. These are yellow flags, which typically happen because they know that they're going to get traced or something if they're domestic.
But most PSAPs, their non-911 calls are also recorded though.
Sometimes they know that, sometimes they don't. Right. But there'll also be things like, for example, the secretary for the police chief's office is not recorded, but she's going to transfer it.
Right.
And she's not going to transfer it through the 911. She's going to transfer it to the back channel.
That might not
just
be
because
recorded.
of her right. And so somehow they figured that out, or they hear about it. God forbid there actually may be places on the dark web that tell you this department does this, and they share that information amongst the bad actors about that, so that they know the next time they can make a call, that kind of thing happens. Part and parcel to this is there's a lot of moving parts to it.
Right.
You have to have communities that are willing to accept. I'm not saying don't go. I'm saying slow the roll.
Gotcha.
And as you're rolling, demobilize when you recognize that they are yellow flags turning into red flags. We only got one call. There's no shots fired things. All the cameras that we had hooked up at the school show nothing. The SRO, we called him and he said there's nothing going on. Right. All of that should cause you not to come in guns a-blazing and break down the front door.
And you're right. I think that you're right. I think there has to be some sort of check, right, with the school. But there's, I always think
if you don't get through to them, that's fine.
Right.
It's all us versus them. Here's the problem: is there are a number of districts out there where they don't have regular conversations. There's a wall. There's a fortressing effect.
Yeah.
The school has their own private guards, and they don't want the police in there because it's a community type thing, whatever it is.
So
that doesn't work in a disaster.
I got to tell you a funny story though. So just trying to lighten this up a little bit. There was a true story, 100% true story. So the school, there was a threat called in,
right?
And so the dispatch called over to the school, and there was I don't know the exact terminology, but this part I'm good. But so it was like he called the school secretary, and the code word was, "Hey, I'm looking for Mr. Armstrong."
Okay.
Right. and the person who called was like their first day, and they're like didn't know that was the code word, and they're like, "There's no Mr. Armstrong here," which was meant send the
wow.
send the freaking troops. Right, so they hung up, and
Right.
so they're like, "Oh,
Right.
yeah, this is legit. There's
Yeah.
something going on," and so they sent
Right.
everybody. But hey, Diddy, and so they sent the the troops. But she's just like, "Oh, I didn't know who Mr. Armstrong was,
Yeah.
but that was the code word for the."
I had a district like that where when they wanted to go into lockdown, they would say the paychecks are delayed.
Yeah.
And their whole thought was to not scare the kids and not do that lockdown
Right.
language. This was a special school. This was a school for kids with disabilities. So they had reasons to do what they did.
Right.
But that was not interoperable communications
Right.
between interagencies. That was not NIMS common language. These are all the things that we do in emergency management. They were like, wait a second, if I don't know the code Bravo or, this is a 1, 2, 3 or whatever the heck the police codes are, forget it.
But I get the need for the code words, right? Because you don't want the bad guy to knowing that, if they're there on the phone. But I just thought that was funny though, that the person who answered the phone did not know the code. But I mean, those are things. But the sad part about this is that we're in a world now where AI can really make a difference. In people don't know the difference between real and fake now.
And I've described it as an agile threat that needs an agile set of solutions. And right now we're losing that battle in terms of the speed to scale that the way that AI is able to look more realistic, sound more realistic.
Yeah.
There's no longer that choppiness. There's no, whatever it is there. You're catching something. We used to catch 6 fingers, right? Kind of a thing or whatever. Those are all going away very quickly. It is going to be the point where there's talk about things like having sort of the behind the scenes metadata signatures to come in, almost like requiring a sort of a validation to the cell phone call before it goes to 911. The question of delays and all that is certainly an issue. But there may be a point, for example, you won't be able to call 911 without activating your GPS. They may say that.
I mean, I know we're talking about swatting right now, but it's beyond that. There's some serious stuff that's going on today where they could grab. I mean, we're live. They could grab our voice.
Yes.
Right. They could find out. Get a hold of this. Call my wife with my voice, and say it's me calling my wife, saying, "Hey, I'm stuck in Louisville."
Right.
Right.
That Mission Impossible thing where the guy only says 21 words or something, gets the entire thing.
Yeah. But people are calling like, "Oh, hey, Grandma, I'm stuck over here." Yes. And my wife works in adult protective services, and she's like, people are getting scammed all the time.
Sure.
There's,
I've told my mom that all the time. I am not somewhere else, and I do money.
And on the other side of it too is like, just on the funny side of it. Do you ever see the video of the polar bear climb up the side of the ship?
No. Okay.
So this polar bear.
Oh, the baby polar bear that they all pet and stuff?
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen that.
So my sister shared this, and she's like, "Oh, this is so." I go, I said, I love my sister Karen. I go, Karen, how the hell does a polar bear? So the suction cup on his. I mean, like, how would a polar bear climb up the side of a ship? Is slick. Like, how would he climb up? There's no ladder for. Like, come on, how is he going to get in there? She's like, "Oh, I didn't think about that."
And then they're all petting him.
They're all petting him. He's like, the bear's like, it's like, back to the polar bears.
Yes, that's right. Should be attacking the movie theater next thing.
But how many people believe or wanted to believe?
Yes, sure.
Sure. So there's
and
that.
we have that issue. We have that issue in emergency management, public information officers, and others. They have to get ahead of the story.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the story will get ahead of them, and the fake story will get ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
Sort of. What do they say? Something rumors and stuff travel so fast before the truth gets its pants on. I forgot.
Truth gets his pants on.
Yeah, that's a Mark Twain saying, and I got to find it. I'll find it for you for show notes.
I need that. Before Dan puts his pants on in the morning. Dan, put your pants back on, please. Because the rumors are.
I think is lies travel halfway around the earth before truth gets its pants on. I don't remember. I have to look it up now. You got me. You got a writer caught not knowing his right citation. So
I'll figure that one out. All right, everybody. Hey, look at Mike, appreciate you. Thanks for everything that you do. This is awesome that we're here. What you got going on for the rest of the year?
For 2025?
2026.
Oh, that new year. Fantastic. A lot of things. I am continuing on a couple of the projects I'm working on. The infant toddler feeding project we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do some pitches to some other trade shows, conventions, that kind of thing for this. We're continuing to reach out to state, local, tribal, territorial governments. I have a version of my show, my PowerPoint, it's about 40 minutes long, in Spanish. I'm trying to connect with the folks in Puerto Rico, for example, to get that. I would imagine there'd be some folks in Florida and Arizona that would benefit from and part of California maybe that would benefit from.
Absolutely.
So I've, I'm not going to name names as to who's said yes and who said no, but point being is that we've got that out there. We've been talking actually here at the trade at the EMEX for IAEM USA. I've been talking with vendors about supporting that project. From a perspective of last mile logistics. Where do you do? Because that's going to be unique to each sort of situation, as well as each jurisdiction in terms of what they can do. The state of the sort of federal government and the plans. I think both you and I, from an IEM perspective, we're going to, in 2026, we're going to be going to another Hill Day.
Another Hill Day. We will definitely be going to another Hill Day. Knock on some. So Congress people, we'll be talking to you here soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Todd and I were both paired together covering a number of the jurisdictions. So New York, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. Look for probably Todd and I to say hello again for that. Point being is I think FEMA Review Council will probably have some results and we have to look at that from the totality of emergency management, probably write about it,
right.
As Absolutely. Well too, as what happens. We have advocacy positions that we can take ourselves. We have advocacy positions we can promote on behalf of the IAEM.
Yep.
I think those will probably be aligned in general, the two of them. They certainly are for me. I don't see anything that the International Association of Emergency Managers is promoting or proposing that I disagree with.
No, absolutely not.
That's me. But there's going to be some more conversations about the professionalism in emergency management.
Yes.
I may get into a virtual cage match with some other authors on the question of licensing versus credentialing. That's an interesting one. So there are some folks out there that are proponents of state or even a national license. Yeah, see, you're like me. You're like
Here
me.
We go.
I'm going to get you on my side. So the question of state and national or national, by the way, I challenge anyone else to find me a national license. I can think of only one, and it's an amateur license.
HAM.
That's right.
KI6RBW.
KC2 UOA.
All right.
So that's the only one I can think of. If you think, oh well, the FAA licenses pilots, must be something. No, they certify pilots. So yes, there are certainly state licenses. Long conversation. We've actually turned it into journal articles in a tit for tat kind of a thing at another publication. They're, I think, looking at sort of stopping the conversation because they can't take these many articles and maybe finishing up with one more, but maybe doing a webinar or a conversation. So look for that in 2026. I will certainly let the Emergency Management Network know about it because I think the more people that chime in or ask questions or get a chance to converse about it, the better. I'm all about professionalism. You're going to find that I'll talk to any audience for that,
right.
and promote the idea that for the individual, the certified emergency manager and the associate emergency manager are the credentials.
Absolutely.
For emergency management professionals.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be my thing, and I'm sticking to it, or however that goes.
Okay, Bart.
Yeah, there you go. So I write that on the wall like 100 times or something. Yeah.
That's awesome. No. Oh, Dan's back.
My pants are on.
Hey.
Dan said his pants are on.
I'll alert the media. Oh, look, we just did.
All right. Well, you know what? Just kind of coming to the end of this, and got some other people that we're going to try to pull in here to do some interviews with. It's always a pleasure talking to you. We had a lot of work to do here.
Sure.
And
look forward to sharing it with it either and both. We can always cross post between Substacks, but I love writing for the Emergency Management Network Substack because one of the key things is that it doesn't have an editorial review, but the idea that sort of get to say and pick whatever we want to write about. And we're not edgy. I don't think that's really necessarily a way I would describe it, but we're definitely opinionated.
Definitely opinionated.
Right. So,
yeah, not edgy.
Yeah.
No.
No, I do write edgy, but not for the EMN network.
All right, everybody. We'll see you. Well, we're going to keep it going live. You know, whether it's Michael, Dan, myself, we'll be back here in a little bit. Talk to you all later. And as always, like I say, stay safe, stay hydrated.
When the sirens scream out loud, we're the voice that breaks the cloud. Heads out high when things go wrong, we'll guide you through with strength and song. Disaster strikes without a sound, chaos reigns but we're around. Public safety in our hands.